What is up, guys? So Max Anstie, he's about to do something very special in World Supercross, and I'm going to explain to you why a 5-round championship, being perfect in that, might be harder than any other series in this sport. The Mini Olympics, one of the majors as they call them in amateur racing, wrapped up, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the guys that I noticed, and does this race really matter? Is it results that matter at these amateur nationals? But if you struggle with high impact chronic pain, try Nano Extreme. This stuff gets past all 7 layers of your skin and really does give you relief from the pain. So I'm telling you, head over to Nano Extreme, use code Cooksey, give it a try. And if you want to figure out arm pump, Coach Rob is doing a seminar. Typically it's $500. And now what I forgot to mention is you have to use code CooksyMob to get it for $250. And all that money, all of it, 100% goes to injured rider Hayden Bennett. By the way, happy 20th birthday, Hayden Bennett. She's coming along great. She's doing a lot of recovery and she's getting much better. And don't forget, if you're buying or selling a house, reach out to me, chriscooksymedia@gmail.com, and I'll help you find an agent that will understand your needs to sell your house, buy your house. I'm licensed here in Nevada and I can refer anywhere in the world. So wherever you are, I can find you an agent and make sure they do what they're promising to do.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
But I don't blame them, I blame you!
So World Supercross in Australia, the 250 class. And I really like the 250 class in World Supercross. It's not like the AMA series. They don't point the guys out. There's no system to force them out. It's a true championship on its own. I absolutely love seeing a 250 specialist like Shane McElrath be able to continue his career. It's weird how in the United States we have this regional system where they promote him out. It was designed as a feeder series, but it's actually a place that these factories need as much attention or close to the same attention as they do in the Premier 450 class. They sell just as many, if not more. The guys get the same amount of coverage. There's no reason to point guys out of the 250 class in the United States. It should be treated just like World Supercross. And guys like Shane McElrath, if they want to ride a 250 their whole career, go for it. I could go on about the regional series and pointing out and all that stuff. That's literally an episode on its own. I could go for like 20, 40 minutes just talking about that and some of the things and why they should change it. I'm not going to do that right here. I'm just going to say, I love that World Supercross, it's open to everybody. And they have some pretty damn good talent over there in World Supercross, which makes what Max Anstie is doing right now even more impressive. You can say what you want about it not being as stacked as the American competition. There's guys who've won races, podiumed in America. Like, it is a pretty deep field. The way Enzo Lopes and Cody Schock are riding, they're high level. Shane McElrath, I mean, this dude almost won championships here in the United States. He's riding as good as he's ever ridden. Colin Park, who had a podium last year in AMA Supercross. So you can't discredit the talent that Max Anstie is going against. And I get the AMA series has a couple guys that are on a little bit higher level. You have your Joe Shimodas, Hayden Deegans, and Cole Davies. But beyond that, they've got everybody at the same level right below them. And now we've seen undefeated seasons in outdoor nationals. We got Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, Jet Lawrence. That is incredible. They did 24 motos, Jet did 22 motos. That feat alone is mind-blowing. So you might look at the World Supercross Series and say, well, it's only 5 rounds. It's not that big of a deal. But we're talking about not overall for the night. We're talking about every single sprint main, regular main. The only thing he almost lost and kind of lost was Super Pole, but it doesn't mean anything this year. This year, they took points away from it. It doesn't matter. He made a little left turn when he was off the face of the triple, which was gnarly how he downsided the wrong half of the triple jump landing. But man, he even made that look good. We've never seen a Supercross perfect season. It's because it's more difficult inside the stadium. You make one mistake, you get a bad start. It's not like the outdoor nationals where you have 30 minutes plus 2 laps on this big, wide, spread open track. In the stadiums, it's much less forgiving to these mistakes. So to go unbeaten in Supercross, it hasn't been done yet in at least 450 Supercross. I think we've had 1 or 2 guys do it in the regional, but we're talking like 7, 8 events. Right now, if that were the case, Max Anstie would be right there. And while it's 5 overall events, it's 9 motos or 9 main events that he's won. And the reason I say it's more difficult is because they're 8 laps, and 12 laps. That is not a lot of time. You have to get a good start and not make any mistakes. One mistake, and you're looking at a second or third place in one of these main events. It's the equivalent of, in Supercross, not losing a heat race or a main event, because in a heat race, it's a lot easier. You make a little mistake, there's less time. That's what the 2 sprints are like. And for Max to have dominated every single race, wow. I mean, he's got 6 more to go before he has a perfect season, but that's 15 straight main event wins if he gets it done. If somebody were to go perfect in Supercross, it's 17 straight main events, or in the regional next year, it would be 9 main events. He's already tied. If this were, like I said, if this were a regional event similar to what the AMA is, it's an undefeated season. That's 9 straight main events for Max Anstie. But it's about to get difficult. Now he's got through 60% of the series. They're 3 rounds in a 5-round series. He's got 6 more main events. And the pressure amps up because now you have to lock up the championship. The only goal for Max Anstie at the beginning of the season was win the championship. How do you do that? What's the easiest way to do that? You win every round. Rarely, if ever, does that happen in a series. Yes, like I said, we've seen Jet, Stewart, Carmichael. We've seen it happen, but it is so rare in any championship to go completely undefeated. So when you get late in the series like Max is right now, they're heading into round 4. It'll be main events number 10, 11, 12. He has a significant point lead, but you can't throw it away. And points switch so fast in this series that, if he has an issue in main 1, there's not a lot of time to recover before main 2. That's another thing that makes this so much more impressive than any other undefeated that I've seen. That is if he's able to close it out. But what Max has got going for him is if he can get to a 45-point lead over second place in the series when they leave the next round, it's all about the undefeated season and he can straight go for it. Right now, he kind of still has in the back of his head, do I take a risk knowing that if I do something stupid, it could cost the championship and this incredible run of 9 straight main events would just be thrown out the window? But going into the next round, he's got 28 points over Cody Schock, and that's the real goal, is to win the championship, not necessarily undefeated. Once you go undefeated, now you're just talking about legacy, history books, ego. Don't think for 1 second people don't want it, because if Max can do this, I don't think anyone else is going to do this. In this format, I don't think this probably, I want to say ever, but you never know. Somebody could come along and do something crazy. But I truly believe if Max can close this out and go undefeated, I think this is a record that's going to stand for a long time. I don't think you're going to see another person in the 250 class or 450 class in World Supercross go undefeated. It's just too difficult with those short main events, the quick turnaround time. There's a lot going against him. So he's got, first he's got to win the championship, and then he gets to chase history. But just like when you watch a pitcher going for a no-hitter or a perfect game, the intensity ramps up, and you can feel it around Max Anstie. I want him to do it. I think it'd be pretty cool, and I think it's a record that will stand for a long time. So, Max, good luck on your quest for the perfect game or the perfect season. So, defending champ Shane McElrath has had a wild up-and-down season. So, at the opening round in Buenos Aires, he didn't feel well. He faded towards the end of the night. He was under the weather. So then he goes to Canada. He is going to right the ship. And you could see the level of intensity that Shane brought to the table. He was going to stop Max, get on the podium and insert him back and defend that number 1 plate. Because that's one of the hardest things to do in sports, is defend that number 1 plate. Well, bike issues. Completely out of his control, going from the practice bike or his backup bike to the regular bike. And it really screwed with his momentum. He had a horrible night, lost a chunk of points. He raced the next weekend in the Australian Supercross Championship and just didn't look like the same guy. It clearly, his momentum was going the wrong direction. He's corrected it. He did really well. He got second place. He's finally back on the podium. And just like in baseball, when guys are on a team that's about to get no hit, they don't want to be on that team. You don't want to be the team that gets on the wrong side of a record. You don't want to be the team that gave up a perfect game. It's embarrassing. So these guys, on their own pride, whether the championship's over or not, don't think for 1 second any of these guys is going to roll over. They're going to try and stop him from making history at their expense. How about the big man, Cullen Park, got on the podium? And I mean, he's no stranger to the podium. He was on the podium last year in the AMA series, but he's been so close this season. He just couldn't quite get there. No longer. He got his first podium of the season with consistent finishes. And, he's a bigger guy, so he struggles on the starts and tracks where power is at a premium. Cullen's at a big deficit. The guy's got to be pushing 190 pounds. And the guys he's racing against, they're 150, 140. I mean, that's a big disadvantage when you're talking about tenths of a second and fractions of a tenth. And as close as that field is, man, giving up 30, 40 pounds is huge, but Cullen Park fought through it. And the thing he had going on his side is, I will tell you this, as a bigger guy, when it gets slick, you can use your height and your size to gain traction where these little guys can't. So seeing Cullen Park get his first podium of the year on one of the slickest tracks of the year, not surprising because his disadvantage was nullified, and you can almost turn weight into a bit of an advantage sometimes on those super slick surfaces when it requires bike and throttle control. But watch out for Cullen Park. The other thing about when you get a podium, you start believing you're supposed to. And he would love nothing more than to end Max's streak. That would be huge for Cullen Park. That'd be almost like winning the championship for him at this point. Enzo Lopes, boy, he was looking like a man on a mission. He was really good in practice and timed qualifying. He went to Super Pole and was on it. Yes, he put the pressure on Max Anstie to where Max had to send it in his lap. And yes, he was going faster than Enzo when he jumped off the track, but Enzo put him in that position where he had to go to that level to beat him. Enzo was looking like the one guy who could stop the streak. He didn't get it done. He rode really good in both the first and part of the second main, and he was the second best guy until he lost it in the whoops. I don't recall exactly what happened to him in the third one, but he didn't finish well in the third either, and it really hurt his overall result and his championship standings because he's way out of it now. But Enzo's got 2 rounds and 6 main events to see if he can get that win. Enzo, he is not short on talent, and you let that guy feel good, get out front, man, he's as good as anyone when he believes in himself. And Michael Hicks on the Stark, the electric bike, that was the ideal conditions for them to where, and Michael was explaining this to me when I was in Canada, when it's loamy or you have to pop the clutch to really get the bike out of the turns, they struggle because it doesn't have a clutch. So you have to get on the gas, carry momentum, but you get a track like Australia where it was hard packed. It was about throttle control, momentum. He was flying and he looked like he was going to be 4th overall. And he had that big mistake at the end of the third main event. Cased it, went over the bars, and DNF. But man, I'll tell you what, he is the shining light for the Stark team right now. I don't know what happened to Lance Kobush. He wasn't there. They brought in one of my favorite riders, Kalana Humphrey. But it's so hard when you jump in the middle of the series like Kalana just did. These guys are already used to the format, used to the intensity, and to jump right in and be asked to run up front is difficult. But Kalana is incredibly talented, and I hope they keep him. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to bring back Kobush, bring Kalana. I don't know what's happening there, but either of those guys, it's nice to see them out there. But Michael Hicks is making that start. He's really showing the potential it has. If it wasn't for Michael Hicks, I think we'd all be looking at it going, it's a little behind, but the way Michael rides it is just different. He understands momentum and how to get the most out of that start. What do you think? Is Max going to go undefeated? And if he doesn't, who's going to get the win? Is it Cullen Park? Who, by the way, great suggestion when I was talking about replacements for Joe Shimoda. Cullen Park, absolutely 100% no-brainer. I don't know why I didn't think of him. Cullen Park would be a good replacement. Ty Masterpool is sitting around without a deal. There's a few guys out there they could get to fill in, but Cullen Park would be perfect. He's already on a Honda and riding like a savage. If you need to ship anything, hit up Precision Transport. That's pretransport.com. Do you handle logistics for your company and you're tired of these companies jerking you around? Use Precision Transport. They'll probably save your company a ton of money, get you a promotion. So hit up pretransport.com. Alias MX, high quality motocross gear. Check it out over at aliasmx.com. Ride strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts. Get yourself a Red Pill shirt, some cool goggles. Head over to ridestrap.com. So last week was the Winter Olympics or Mini Olympics in Florida. So this race originally started off as a all-discipline amateur event. They did like hare scrambles, flat track, and they combined the overall result with all the different disciplines to have the Mini Olympics. I honestly still wish they did that where they had, these different disciplines and combined. They've limited it to supercross and motocross because the sport has changed and the manufacturers are like, listen, we just want our guys to do this and this. And, they have to, there's a certain amount of time, entries, you still have to make the event profitable. So they've limited it to Supercross and motocross. But I love being able to watch these amateur nationals on YouTube. It's something you never used to do. Like when I was a kid, we watched and then we checked cycle news and hoped we heard from our buddies what happened. We had no clue what was going on. We didn't know who the top guys were. Nowadays, it's all televised and it's a pretty good, they do a decent job. I mean, you can see they're not working with a huge budget. They don't have tons of camera guys. They have some technical difficulties, but to be able to watch amateur racing like that, man, we live in a good time. But I have to say, Wes Kane makes me laugh. His analogies and race comparisons and 20 miles of bad road, Pier 6 brawl, he just makes me laugh. They make long days of racing entertaining. Sometimes watching the kids, it's not the most exciting thing, but you really want to watch. But those guys find a way to make it entertaining, so I want to thank them for that. Wes Kane is hilarious. And I love that they don't take it too serious. It's dirt bike racing. It's okay to make jokes. It's okay to goof around. We're not splitting atoms here. And when I watch these races, I'm always looking for who the next pros are going to be. I don't pay as much attention to the younger kids. Yeah, I know it's cool, but it really doesn't mean anything to me. I'm looking for who's going to be making their mark in the pro ranks soon. And somebody I'd never heard of was Tristan Pruitt. Honestly, never heard of him before. I'd probably seen him and just didn't pay too much attention. But I noticed him in Supercross. They had the finish line jump and they had this little roller and a tabletop. He started jumping off the roller over the tabletop before all the pro sport guys. They all saw him do it and they started doing it. But I was like, dang, that's special. That's something you don't see every day when somebody finds a way to change the track and make something that wasn't there before. He was clearly the best B rider, and B riders these days, they're not very far off the pro sport. Little bit of sandbagging, whatever you want to call it. But the B riders can turn pro and be competitive. That's how good they are. And he was clearly the best of the B riders. There's some other good guys, but he's the only one that really stuck out to me. He's the only name that I'll be going, okay, let's watch Tristan Pruitt. Let's see what he does next year in the pro sport and where he can take this thing. Then I was watching Cade Johnson. I've watched Cade since he was on 60s when he was the first guy to bring in the Yamaha 65. He started in Utah. That's why I started watching Cade. He switched from Yamaha. He was on Yamahas forever. Jumped on the Kawasaki. He looked really good in Supercross, but you could tell in the outdoors he was just a touch off. I mean, you switch teams and bikes, it's not easy to do and just to feel comfortable. You have moments, and then you have moments where you don't feel comfortable. You could see that in Cade Johnson. But he's good, and he is going to make his mark in the pros here really soon. Carson Wood, the star Yamaha prodigy, and he looked exactly like that. This kid has talent, and if he can stay healthy, he will make his mark in the pro ranks within a year or two. The thing is he's got to learn. You could see the immaturity in him when Mikael Harrop, who's a veteran and a pro, probably too good to be at the Amateur National, but he was still there. All Carson Wood had to do in the last 450 moto was stay behind him, get second place. He takes the overall, gets the bronze boot or Dunlop tire, whatever the award was, he gets it and he's the man. Fortunately, you saw the youth and he wanted so badly to put it to Triumph factory rider Mikael Harrop with GP experience. Yes, that's ego. That's him being young and not understanding the situation. My question with Carson Wood is that he's going to take that as a learning experience, or is he going to be one of those kids that makes the same mistake over and over? I have to think he'll probably learn from it. Time will tell, and that's why I like watching these kids, but I will be watching Carson Wood the next year or two. Then you had Vincent Way. Huge fan of Vincent Way. His dad is a legend, Nick Way, so it's pretty easy to pay attention to him, but he's been good, and I've been on record saying he is going to be a good pro, but he's got to figure out how to keep the same intensity all weekend. He only had moments. He had that one moment where he beat Harrop, and then the other races, I mean, he was good. He wasn't bad by any means, but it looked like he was going 96% instead of 100. He needs to figure out how to find that speed that he had in the one where he beat Mikael and bring that every time. Because when you get to the pros, when you have one of those off races like he had, you don't get 4th or 5th. You get 15th or 20th. And that doesn't keep you employed. Speaking of Triumph, they brought Deacon Deno. He's their amateur guy. That's their first homegrown rider that they're bringing through the ranks. And he had some good runs. I don't know what to expect from Deacon. I'm going to be watching him a little bit closer. Triumph is they're high on him, and they think he's a guy that will be on their factory team and a factor in Supercross and outdoors in the coming years. Time will tell. I don't know if I agree with him, but he had some moments there in Florida. And I got to give a call out to Carter Gray. I've watched this kid since he was on Cobras. I don't know why. Something about Carter Gray. I saw him at Loretta Lynn's, just caught my attention. He's got that little swag. He sends it. He had a big injury, broke his back, but he has feeling and everything, and he will make a full recovery. But just want to send my best out to Carter Gray. I like his style, and I hope this doesn't set him back too far. I think this kid's got a future, but I mean, it's hard when they're that young to see if they're going to keep developing or if they get hurt. Does it change their personality? Do they ride the same? Are they able to come back? Do they decide it's worth it? There's so many different factors when you're that age and your whole life's in front of you. But I'm really happy to say he has feeling in his limbs and he will make a full recovery. And these amateur nationals, man, it's not like in the old days you had to do good at the amateur nationals to get a factory ride. I don't think it's like that anymore. I think it's more just a festival. It's just one more thing to put on the resume, but it doesn't make or break your career. You got Supercross, SMX next, you got the Combine. There's so many arena cross. There's so many different ways to develop your career. And these things are expensive, man. You're talking, if you're bringing your kids to race a full week, let's say one kid, you do 3 classes, Supercross, motocross. I mean, you're talking about a $3,000 to $5,000 weekend, depending on how it goes. It's expensive. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is this what we want to do? Or should we pick other races that aren't a week long? Go do a 2-day arena cross. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of a money grab going on, but it's also a really cool event. So I'm kind of torn on that. And I know I got you guys on the title by saying, are they worth it? I really don't know. If you enjoy them and you have the money to spend, I say do it. But if you are solely trying to become a top professional and you think this is the only way to get on a factory team, so you're mortgaging the house and doing everything to get your kid at these events, I don't think that's the right decision. I think there's other ways you can do it. You can go to, like I said, arena cross. You can hit up select events that aren't a week long, that don't eat up the finances quite as much as something like, the Thanksgiving event. But I enjoyed watching everybody. I like the vet guys too, seeing Ryan Sipes back out there after his horrendous back injury. And I love watching the vet riders in an amateur national. They are well aware the future doesn't really mean anything, but they're just out there having a little bit more fun, chasing the glory. You find out which of these pros that you were cheering for back in the day truly loves riding and racing their dirt bike. Barry Karsten loves this stuff. He's out there in his 50s grinding. That dude just loves riding, and that's just fun to watch. Thank you, members. We're 31 days away from giving away the new Powersports XQi3 electric motorcycle. This thing's badass. And at the end of this month, one of you guys is going to get a XQi3 electric motorcycle from New Powersports. I didn't do the drawing for the $100 gift cards yet. 3 of you are winning for November, $100 gift cards to Veltrogen Peptides. Thank you, guys. Here's your member of the day.
Treat us like cheap property. Package us up and sell the whole sport to a monopoly. This is very legal, they don't care about the people. It's like NASCAR and Jordan, man, this practice is deceitful. Private entities manipulating what we love. The DMG extorting the AMA, a bunch of thugs. This happened to Planet Fitness, the dark side of business. Rest in peace to motocross, cause I will never forget it.